So why does your child get a fever? Why do they look so bad when they have one? And how do Tylenol and Motrin work? I'm Dr. Tracy Tyson. I'm a board-certified general pediatrician. Let's talk about it. So fever in general is the body's kind of first-line defense when it thinks it's infected, especially in a young child and someone with a more immature immune system. A common misconception is that children's immune system is not very strong. It's actually extremely strong. It just doesn't have a roadmap. It's immature. So it has a few different kind of bomb-like ways to fight infection until it gets some memory. And that happens by getting the infection and getting some memory immune cells and/or vaccination, which gives you a roadmap on how to fight these infections sooner. So children are going to increase their temperature as one of their first lines to fight off any kind of infection that the body senses may harm them. How it does this is, as soon as those little surveillance white blood cells grabs a hold of the infection, it releases some chemicals to tell the brain, hey, I need your help, and the brain increases the thermostat. When it increases the thermostat, there's a few things that happen in your child to generate more heat and increase the body temperature. The first one is it pulls heat from the body by taking the blood vessels and shrinking them so that the hands and feet are going to get cold. You might notice a little lacy blue or purple rash on the body. All is a way to conserve the heat that it already has. The second thing that it does is by increasing how much energy and heat we're making. And it does that by using the muscles. So the heart rate's going to go up. The breathing rate's going to go up. You're going to shiver and use your muscles to make more heat to help increase that temperature. There's also a behavioral component where your brain tells you that you're cold instead of hot. So you get up underneath a bunch of blankets, you bundle up so that you are also helping to increase that heat. That's why your child looks miserable when they have a fever, because it's not a temperature we're meant to stay at. So some mechanisms like brain function and thing goes down while other mechanisms increase. So they're very tired, they lay around, they breathe hard and fast, their heart rate's elevated, their hands and feet are cold, they're shivering, and they look miserable. This depends on the kid, how high the temperature goes, and all different kinds of factors, because this is only one aspect of how the body's infection. It's also releasing a bunch of other chemicals that cause a lot of other symptoms in the child. So that is why your child looks so bad from a fever. It's needed, especially in young kids. In general, the temperature itself is not as much of an indicator of the seriousness of the infection as it is genetic factors, how many of those chemicals were released when you got sick, had you ever seen the infection before. Infections that children have seen before, they're not going to necessarily release such a high temperature. There's also certain infections like influenza causes a higher fever than most. Measles was one of the ones that caused the highest fever. And so the measles vaccination can cause a fever. So how do Tylenol and Motrin work, and why don't they work as well as we want them to? So acetaminophen, or Tylenol to those of us in the United States, and NSAIDs, or ibuprofen, is as well as what's called in the United States, work on two different mechanisms. Tylenol actually stops the chemicals from getting to the brain. So it blocks them so you don't increase the thermostat as much. So it doesn't always decrease the temperature right in the moment. It stops it from staying consistent. So it will kind of shut it down. The NSAIDs, or ibuprofen, block it once the thermostat has increased. It blocks your body's ability to respond. So they work very differently. They don't work completely, right? You can't block all of those chemicals. So in general, fever reducers like acetaminophen and ibuprofen are going to decrease your temperature around 1 to 2 degrees. They can go more than that, but that is on average. So we don't expect it to go down to 98.6 just with taking Tylenol and Motrin. The brain has to actually reset the thermostat for that to happen. So when your child has a high fever, that's why we recommend these fever reducers, because they decrease the symptoms from the fever, but we want the fever to continue to go up because that's going to help fight the infection. So I hope this helps make sense. If you guys have any questions about fever, I wanted to keep this a little bit short, so ask me and I'm happy to make some follow-up videos. Take care.